Welcome to the Jaguar King podcast, where we make every single QB play like the second coming of Tom Brady. What a clown fest. I was so mad about this game, I didn't even want to do a recap. It's your lone national television game. So you just competed with the Tennessee Titans. You're going to go out there, kick the shit out of the Dolphins, let them know you're for real. Nope. You fucking leave your jockstrap at home, and we get our asses fucking handed to us. We just played like complete shit, and now here I am using YouTube as my therapy session. Thank God I didn't record this after the game when I was mad. I would have been full Stephen A. Smith on you guys, you know? That's just absolutely blasphemous. Let's get into this game so I could take out some frustrations. Let's get into the 3 takeaways from this game. So the first takeaway, is Todd Wash fired yet? Fitzmagic only had 2 incompletions that whole game. It was literally so easy for him. At one point, he caught his own pass. And for those of you calling for Trevor Lawrence after this game, we might need him. I mean, with his 6'6" frame, he could probably play defense end. Look, I know this defense does not have a talent across the board, but no defense should be this bad. And then to me, I think this is where it comes down to coaching. Coming into this game, I think everybody in the NFL has an understanding of who Fitzpatrick is. He's been in the league forever. He's a gunslinger. He's going to take risks. He's going to scramble. He's a pretty mobile quarterback, so you have to keep an eye on that. He does not do well under pressure. Every single time he has bad games is because he's rattled under pressure. What did Jacksonville do? They just sat back and let him do whatever the hell he wanted. Playing these like really soft zones, I get that's our philosophy, but why are you not blitzing, trying to force the issue? Sure, you could say, oh, if we blitz, then we create more one-on-one matchups and leave the team susceptible to a big play. Well, it's happening anyway. The big plays are happening regardless. Whether we sit in a cover 3 or a cover 4 prevent zone, the quarterback's just sitting back there finding whatever spots he wants to do. So why not just blitz if that shit's going to happen anyway? You might as well just try to force something, force a fumble, force an errant throw. I don't know. But if the teams are dinking and dunking down the offense, right, that's one thing. And they are doing that, which is sad. But they're also just picking their spots and going wherever the hell they want to go with the ball. So really, what's the difference? What's your defense really doing? It's just going through the motions. What is this? It's not a scrimmage. You know, we don't want to give Miami a good look. We want to beat them. If the quarterback is comfortable back there just picking chunks and doing whatever he wants, dumping it off, throwing little screen passes, then we have to force the issue in some way. And if we make a mistake by getting beat one-on-one, when we make mistakes, well, guys just roaming around downfield wide open because the coverage was busted. Truly don't get why we don't just chain something up. And at one point, Minshew fumbles close to our end zone. Literally, I thought it was a good thing. Like, it didn't even faze me because I was like, dude, the Dolphins are just going to score anyway. When they might as well score in like 1 minute versus taking 6-7 minutes off the clock, so our offense has no chance. That's how bad our defense is. So you might as well just save some more time. And literally the reason why we've been able to keep up with other teams is because they score so fast and allows our offense to have more plays to put up more points. Speaking of that same drive, they scored on that QB draw. They're at like the 2-yard line, 5 wide receiver sets. How are we not prepared for that? I think everybody in the stadium, even the announcers, like, oh, look out for that draw, but no one on the Jacksonville side looked out for it. And I get it, like the talent is not there for what it used to be, and he's not given the best hand this year. But in all honesty, I think Todd Wash is a definition of insanity in Webster's dictionary now. It seems like these players don't fit this scheme. Then you either have to change up your scheme or find the players to make the scheme work. And our team is built for this year, unless we make some trades, which would be helpful, but I don't see that happening. And then we have to change something up. We sit in that cover 3 and cover 4 zone, so we don't give up those big plays, bend, don't break, all that stuff. When we dump it off to the running back, we have less people underneath to make those tackles. So teams comfortably can just run these long plays, stretch the defense out, toss it to a running back, or even if what we saw yesterday, Ryan Fitzpatrick juking out Orange Sherbert like it was nothing. And then, like I said earlier, like the teams just have all day to throw. We could run those cover 3 beaters like they did with Mike Gesicki yesterday. And it's at this point, you're getting crushed. It's not like you're having glimpses of like, oh, this is what the defense is supposed to do type thing. Right? You're getting crushed every single game. Teams are doing whatever they want. So is there not a point in your mind where you're like, maybe I should do something else? Could it be the players? Maybe it's a mix of both, the players and the coaching. But it's constantly the same mistakes. Like even when with the 2017, the 2018, and 2019 defenses. All the same stuff. The ends are crashing way too hard. Contain is never there. Quarterbacks and running backs and flare routes, they're all just wide open because the contain is not there. We're constantly coverage bust. People are finding the holes in our zones. So it's like if this is constantly happening for the amount of time that Todd Wash has been the defensive coordinator, I'm starting to think it's not the players that much because we brought in Cassius Marsh. He's a new player, so he hasn't been in the scheme. Well, he's been in the scheme with other teams, but not with us. And he's doing the same shit Dante Fowler did. Just crashing the end for no reason, not staying in his contain. So it's like, okay, so is every single player just not getting the system, or is it not being taught right? I'll let you guys be the deciding factor. To me, I think it's coaching more than it is the players. I mean, so that pretty much sums up the defense. They got just absolutely torched. All right, so let's get to the offense because the defense isn't the only reason we lost this game. Minshew's getting a lot of heat for this game, and he did not play his best game. I'm still a believer in Minshew. I'm not going to write him off after 3 weeks into his first season as a starting quarterback. To me, it looks like Minshew is pressing out there. It looks like he's trying to make more plays than the plays that are available. If you go back to last year when we played the Texans, going into that game, it was like, oh, Nick Foles is ready to come back, but Minshew is playing well. If he plays a good game, perhaps, there's conversation to have him as the starter versus bringing Nick Foles to see what we missed there type thing. And he was pressing that game. He was throwing really bad balls. He was just trying to do way too much, holding on to the ball too long, taking off, trying to juke guys and losing the ball, things like that. That's what it looked like to me this game. I think after they scored that first touchdown, it's kind of like that, oh shit, here we go again. You could just tell that when he came out, dude, I got to put up points every single drive. There's no room for errors because this defense is just going to let whatever happen. That one pass to Laviska Shenault, he threw a double coverage. He made an incredible catch. That was close to being an interception. He threw that one deep ball to Conley. Conley wasn't even near. I think the Dolphins had a bigger chance of catching it than he did, so it was like no reason for that throw. He was holding on to the ball way too long, and that could be because they were trying to set up those cover 3, crosses and beaters that the Bills did against the Dolphins, but our line couldn't protect him. So instead of dumping it off and taking that easy play, it seemed like he was trying to hold on to the ball to maybe that guy comes open and he can, flick it over to him. It looked like he was trying to create more than what was in front of him. It looked like he had those checkdowns and stuff early in the game open, but he was trying to force the issue because he knew he had to score and score fast because of the way the defense was playing. Yeah, he played bad, but your offense isn't always going to click every single game. If you look at the Chiefs versus the Chargers, the Chiefs should have blew them out. Yeah, it was a divisional game and all that, but the Chiefs have such a high-powered offense. They should have put up a lot more points than they did, but they weren't clicking, and they had needed help from their defense and special teams to win that game. Unfortunately for Minshew, yeah, the defense helps them out. They get some key stops here and there, but for much of the game, it's all on him to play like freaking Jesus. And sure, you could say the second half they tightened up, but in reality, they just took their foot off the pedal. Another thing is, I think we really need DJ Shark. Going into it, I didn't think he'd be that much of a difference. I knew that he is our number one receiver, Pro Bowl receiver, and he's definitely our best receiver. But Minshew's been spreading the ball around so much that I felt like he would be able to do that again. But what it looks like is that the reason he's able to spread around so much is DJ Shark is a guy you got to really account for on our offense, so it allows the other guys to flourish more. Because it looked like yesterday we really weren't able to get much separation. They were playing really sloppy yesterday. They came out really bad, low energy. So I don't know how much DJ Shark would have made a difference in them winning the game, but at least it would have been a lot closer of a game because you had to account for him, and perhaps it changes the way we game plan or whatever. I don't know, but they definitely need him a lot more than I thought they did heading into that game. The lone bright spot was James Robinson. Dude is Baywatch. Through 3 games, he's been absolutely crushing it. He honestly runs with great vision, explosiveness. For an undrafted rookie, he's been super impressive. He plays a lot faster than what he did in college. When you look at his college highlights, he looks kind of slow on film, but when you watch him in the NFL, he honestly looks really fast and explosive. That's literally the only positive I can come away with his offense. It was just a total shit show. And then my third takeaway is coaching. I already talked about Todd Wash and how he should be put in the dryer, but I feel like Gruden had a weird game. There's that one point where he called that, where it looked like he was going to go for it on 4th down, and he threw that toss play to Chris Thompson. That made no sense. I get it. Maybe you're trying to catch him off guard, perhaps like a 1st down or so. I don't know. I thought that was weird, especially if you're thinking about going for it on 4th down. Why not take the safe route? Get James Robinson in there to at least get you 2 to 3 yards to make that 4th down a lot easier. They wind up losing yards. That just backfired completely. I don't know what the game plan going in. Like I said, it looked like they were trying to set up those long developing routes like the Bills did, but they just didn't have the line to protect them. And I feel like Brian Flores and the Dolphins outcoached Marrone. The players just came out ready to play for the Dolphins. They seemed fired up. They were way more physical. They just completely outplayed the Jaguars. They honestly made adjustments. Like I said, going into the game, I was looking forward to see how they do against those crossers and that man coverage, and it looked like he came out in a zone and prevented those things. Brian Flores knew it was a weakness and decided to change it up. A lot of people with Marone are saying, why do we not just receive the ball instead of kicking it off to get our defense, to get our offense out? Maybe start 7-0 versus being down 7-0. But in all honesty, how much does that really matter? Does our defense really scare anybody? Even if Minshew comes out and the offense puts up 7 points right in the first drive, that doesn't change the other offense's game plan at all. They know they can just walk down the field. Even though our offense is our strength and getting them the ball first, sure. But our defense doesn't scare anybody. It's like so irrelevant. Oh, cool, they scored? Yeah. Just let's do our 10 scripted plays that are going to for sure work and get down to the end zone. To me, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I understand the logic behind it, but I just don't see it really makes that much of a difference. And before I end this video, I want to talk about the refs. They're absolute butt cheeks. At one point, that one guy comes out, Mike Pereira, who always comes and talks about how referees can do no wrong and all that. He goes and starts talking about how, oh, this year the refs were told to call only the obvious calls and holding is down and all this is down. And then right after he says that, the ref proceeds to call the worst horse collar I've ever seen. And then he calls an awful pass interference on Chason, probably realizing that it was not a good call. They go and call that pass interference on the Miami Dolphins. That wasn't a pass interference. That was like a makeup call. And then they kick out Cam Robinson because the freaking ref is groping his nipples down there. He just pushed him off. And then realizing it was probably stupid, not that it even mattered at that point, but they called that personal foul for the guy blocking Miles Jack. Does the NFL just see the Jags are playing and they're like, all right, just send our worst crew there. No one gives a shit. The calls were bad on both sides. It always seems like Jacksonville just gets them at the worst moments you possibly can. That was the recap. Heading into it, I thought it was going to be close, but I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to win it. We'll see what happens. We got Cincinnati coming up. We got a lot of time to prepare for them. So we'll see what happens, but this one definitely sucked. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys subscribing, liking these videos. Thank you guys for listening to my vent session. I talk everything Jaguars, usually in tears. So if you guys like these videos, please subscribe, please like, please comment down below. Please share these videos amongst all the depressed Jaguars fans out there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys to preview the Bengals game.